Hey guys, this is Mike with another MLS updater. Today we're going to be talking about DC United. So, Wayne Rooney finally takes charge of his first game as DC United head coach and comes away with a victory. A 2-1 win in dramatic style against Orlando City. After going behind in the first half, early on the 9th minute, Junior Urso chip gave Orlando City the lead, and DC United held on in this game all the way through until the 91st minute with a Chris Durkin equaliser before Taxi Funtas goes and scores in the 97th minute to give Wayne Rooney all 3 points in a dream debut as head coach in MLS. So Rooney's philosophies and tactical identity were on display once again since his arrival and his unveiling as head coach. DC United moved to this back four, more of a 4-2-3-1 formation, in which Taxi Funtas is not so much a striker, but a more of a withdrawn striker, playing not so much a number 10, but he's got much more license. And this is going to make them a lot more dangerous going forward in those areas. What they'll need to continue to work on is how they play without the ball. Once again, the defence were left isolated. Far too many times they're dropping back and back and back. And when they do try to engage the opposition attackers, they're unable to make the tackles. A lot of the time shots are off target. A number of times, I think there's two occasions, Benji Michel and Pato probably should have put this game out of reach for Orlando City in the first half, but they were unable to convert their chances. DC United's defenders put in a lot of work blocking chances, getting bodies in the way, but they're not winning the ball back as Wayne Rooney would like. That's something that will come with time, and it is showing that there is a fight in this team, and I think Rooney will be delighted with the attitude of his players, but he'll see a lot of things to work on to make sure that he gets his players playing in his way, and that will also include, no doubt, some departures and a number of arrivals, some of which we'll discuss later on. So on Rooney's unveiling, there has been obviously one big departure in which a trade from DC United to Vancouver Whitecaps, Julian Gressel, the former right wing back for DC United, has left. This all due to this big change in style and system within DC United and what Rooney is looking for. Julian Gressel didn't fit this as far as Rooney was concerned. He was an asset in which DC United felt they can get a decent return for. So it seems to be working for both sides. Julian Gressel already a champion with Vancouver Whitecaps, winning the Canadian Championship on penalties. He will be playing CONCACAF Champions League next season with the Canadian side. And DC United have what they wanted for a player who's not going to fit Wayne Rooney's system. The departure didn't come under the best of terms, but this now gives DC United the chance to then go on and adapt their roster as they see fit under the new Rooney regime. So, 2 open DP spots become 1 as Wayne Rooney and DC United make their first DP signing under this new era to add to Taxi Funtas. Victor Paulsen, the defensive midfielder, Icelandic international, arrives from Schalke in Germany. Has some experience in MLS, but a while ago as a young player, in 2012, he made around 16 appearances for the New York Red Bulls. Rooney's adding to his central midfield. He's a defensive midfielder. He wants someone who is going to add depth to that position, but also to be a leader there, to be someone who will make them more competitive, more physical, and more controlling in the middle of the pitch. Someone who can press well, who can protect the defensive line, and he's trying to make his side a lot harder to play through. Sides were able to, Orlando showed it a number of times this weekend, where they were able to find space in between the defence and the midfield. This signing is trying to be one of those first points at addressing that issue. And he comes with plenty of experience, like we say, an international with Iceland, and a strong player with plenty of experience. Along with Paulsen, to add to this midfield, is Ravel Morrison. Now, The Jamaican international played under Rooney at Derby County last season, and the nomadic midfielder provides a little bit of extra quality in the midfield. Someone who can play a bit of as an 8, can also play more wide, going into that 10 position. He's a player who, when coming through the Manchester United Academy, was raved about, but he just hasn't been able to find a more consistent club. He hasn't found a manager who's able to get the best out of him. Rooney believes he's that person. Morrison definitely has the quality on the ball to make DC United a more of a threat going forward, someone who can link up the play well, and someone that the forward line will be happy to have supplying them with opportunities. So along with these 2 signings came 2 trades that have been key to what we could see DC United doing going forward. Miguel Berry has come in from Columbus Crew. He is taking the lead sort of focal point position in the attacking line alongside Taxi Funtas. His arrival comes into quite a congested forward line on the roster. Michael Estrada has come in on loan. He himself has 4 goals this season, but his loan deal doesn't really seem to be working too greatly, and his performances aren't exactly what I think DC United would have expected. For him, I can't see him returning again once his loan finishes, so that would be another space made up. Ola Kamara, who has 7 goals this season, performing well, he's 31, so he's not a player for the future. He's someone that will be working quite well within this squad and is in this rotation basis with Miguel Berry. An interesting one would be Nigel Roberta. He's got 1 goal this season. We'll have to see how he fits into the system. He has also been played out wide at times. So we'll have to see how DC United manage their roster with the attacking lineup. At the other end of the pitch, David Ochoa has arrived from Real Salt Lake. The goalkeeper has come on a deal until the end of the season with the option to renew. Should they renew, a greater fee will be paid to RSL. But it'll be interesting to see how he may be used this season, or whether he's seen as someone more for the future. This weekend's game, we saw Rafael Romo all over the place, taking sweeper keeper to new extremes. And it may be something that Rooney will be looking to encourage, maybe a little bit more of a safer style of play. He may be considering Romo not to be good enough going forward. Bill Hamid is obviously still on the roster but injured. So we'll have to see how this signing of Ochoa will be used, and I think they'll take their time with it, knowing that they have the rest of this season to work out where he could fit going forward in the DC United roster. But it's definitely one to keep an eye on, especially as we go into next season. So all in all, a pretty good opening weekend for Rooney, a 2-1 victory which he can take into the next game against Charlotte on Wednesday. His side will have shown great fighting spirit this weekend, and that's something he'll be delighted with, something that he knows he can mould, something that he asked of his players in Derby last season, and something that he will install in his side this season and going forward as head coach of DC United. There's plenty to work on. There's no hiding from that, and he's well aware of the challenges that he faces. His side is still bottom of the Eastern Conference, but have games in hand and will look to be trying to catch ground on some of those sides above them. Currently 5 points behind Charlotte, who they play on Wednesday. A victory won't leap them up the table, but it will help them get them much more closer. Playoffs are a very long way away, but who knows in MLS, and with the types of transfers they can bring in, it'll be interesting to see how quickly Rooney can get that team gelling together. In his time in Derby, he's been praised for the amount of good work he's done on such a difficult budget with players in such a difficult situation, and he can motivate them so well. And this is something that DC United side need, a team which doesn't really have the quality on paper that other sides will come up against do, but it's something that Rooney will be able to make sure that they continue to fight like they did this weekend. And we'll see how this goes. Thanks very much for tuning in once again, guys. You can follow me at MikeRice1983 on Twitter. Please hit the subscribe button and come back for more MLS updaters.